As soon as I entered the men's dormitory, I heard someone joking around. Pretending to be mute and hitting on your own Aunt L, how does that feel? I instinctively stopped in my tracks and stood at the door. After a long while, a deeper voice finally came through. Just leave it be. Through the crack in the door, I saw a tall guy named E sitting on a chair with his legs crossed. His eyelids drooped, giving him a very sophisticated, world-weary expression. When are you planning to break up? Is it hard to not talk every day? Is it hard for you to talk every day? He fiddled with his phone, looking impatient. We'll talk about it when we're tired of each other. I didn't say anything, pretending not to hear him, and turned around to go back downstairs. I sent him a message, I'm here. Where are you? He replied quickly. Got it. I'll be right down. A few seconds later, a figure rushed out of the dormitory building. E-Man was still wearing that black hoodie. But the annoyed expression had faded, replaced by a sunny, enthusiastic face. He walked over to me with a big smile, looked down at his phone, and tapped it twice. Sis, have you been waiting long? Not too long. He looked at me for 2 seconds, blinked, and typed again. Are you upset because you've been waiting too long? I turned my head to look at Boy E, who was holding his phone and trying to please me. I exhaled, no, it's work-related. Oh. Boy E lowered his eyes, his expression filled with disappointment. This was so different from his earlier demeanor in the dormitory. It even made me doubt whether that scene had been just my imagination. He sat obediently in the passenger seat, then suddenly thought of something. Can you wait a few more minutes? I nodded, and Boy E immediately opened the car door and ran out. While waiting for him, I hesitated for a moment before tapping on Xander's profile picture. You mentioned you have a nephew. What's his name? Soon, someone I hadn't contacted in a long time replied. Xander, E-Man. Xander, what's up? Just as I was about to reply, the car door opened. I hurriedly put my phone back in my pocket. It was E-Man getting in. He kept one hand in his pocket, fastened his seatbelt, then suddenly pulled out a lollipop. Strawberry flavor. He pushed it toward me. For me? Boy E nodded. Are you not angry anymore? I was a poor student sponsored by Xander. Marrying him was simply because he needed someone. He needed an obedient wife to deal with his elderly father's pressure to marry. And I was the perfect candidate. When I was with him, I rarely had the chance to learn about his family. However, I did have some impression of this distant nephew who had been exiled. The reckless rich E. The wild young E who even made Xander headache. And now, this very same ancestor is sitting beside me, looking all innocent. He's putting on such a show, and I find it quite amusing. The car stopped at a red light, and I looked at him. Kiss me. Boy E froze for a moment, then his eyes grew deep. Without needing me to repeat myself, he leaned in and grabbed my chin. He gave me a solid, passionate kiss. Even though he acts like a proper gentleman in everyday life, that primal sense of aggression in bed is impossible to hide. Suddenly, the car next to us honked twice. Before I could react, the horn sounded again. I turned my head and noticed that the window of the car next to us had been lowered. A face I recognized all too well was peering in. Xander? I tensed up instinctively, but then remembered he had no say in this anymore. The man's expression wasn't exactly pleasant, and his tone was mocking. So impatient? I smiled. Youngster has so much energy, making Alex laugh. Xander's face darkened, his gaze passing through me to the person in the passenger seat. I tensed up instinctively and moved to block the view. The light's green, I won't hold you up. After saying that, I rolled up the window first. I looked back at E-Man, who was staring out the window, lost in thought. I suddenly wondered what Xander would do if he found out that the person I had just kissed was his nephew. But this was too interesting to end so quickly. I didn't want it to stop just yet. As soon as we entered the house, E-Man rushed toward me. He embraced me tightly and kissed my lips. I don't like him. Who don't you like? Your ex Alex. Oh. I leaned in and rubbed his earlobe. Funny, I don't like him either. He picked me up with one hand and threw me onto the bed. I gasped and clung tightly to his neck. He silently raised the corner of his mouth, his eyes flashing with satisfaction. I suddenly remembered what his roommate had asked him today. What's it like to hook up with Aunt L? He said, it's just that. But I'm different. hooking up with ex-Alex's nephew. That feeling was fucking amazing. Xander was crazy before. But it was the madness of someone in a position of power. He only took, and I couldn't enjoy it at all. But E-Man is different. I know he's trying to please me. That pleasure reached its peak when I found out his true identity. Just as he was eager to start. The doorbell rang suddenly. Don't answer it. Soon, the doorbell turned into my phone ringing. It must be important. I patted E-Man's head to calm him down. I reached for my phone with one hand. Open the door. It was Xander. I'm not home. I saw your car. Open the door. The person outside seemed to be lighting a cigarette. Are you with that guy? We're divorced. It's none of your business. Then let's get back together. As soon as the words left his mouth, he seemed to be startled by his own words. Neither of us spoke. The phone line crackled with static. I spoke first. You're drunk. Have your assistant take you home. Open the door first. It's really inconvenient. Humph, Lil, you're getting bolder. After saying that, he seemed to think of something and chuckled. Wait, I forgot. Back then, you kissed me when I was drunk, acted crazy, and proposed to me. You've always been pretty bold. The call ended. I was still lost in Xander's words. Back then, I had indeed loved him. The first time I met Xander was when I had just been admitted to university. Driven by a sense of determination, I rushed to his company to meet the person who had sponsored me. Falling in love with him seemed like the natural course of events. I never imagined that one day I would marry him. After marriage, I lived in the pink bubble I had created for myself. I believed that my love alone could sustain our relationship. Until Sun V appeared and shattered my dreams. Sis. A hand reached out from behind me, and I turned around. E-Man was standing behind me. I suddenly became curious. If this person knew the real reason why Xander and I divorced, because of another woman, what would he do? Would he go back to pretending to be mute to seduce Sun V? The mute act is so overused, maybe he could pretend to be lame. Thinking this, I couldn't help but laugh. I patted E-Man's cheek. Sis isn't in the mood right now. Let's do it another time. After saying that, I got up and put on my robe. I didn't notice E-Man's expression growing more complicated. That night, I was sleeping fitfully when I was suddenly woken up by a vibration. You go, Riddle Tavern is waiting for you tonight. There are a few hot girls there. You really don't want to come for a drink? Only then did I realize what was happening. I was holding E-Man's phone. I heard the sound of someone showering in the bathroom, so I placed the phone back on the bedside table. Soon, E-Man came out. He was afraid of waking me up, so he tiptoed over to my side. He picked up the phone, swiped it a couple of times, then casually tossed it aside and put on his jacket. I pretended to just wake up and opened my eyes. Going out? Prof E needs me for something. I have to go back to school. Now? It's almost midnight. E-Man shrugged, looking helpless. I sneered inwardly. This big shot E really should have gone into showbiz. I resisted the urge to roll my eyes and patted his head reassuringly. Graduating dog, no rights, I get it. After E-Man left, I slowly got out of bed a few minutes later. I grabbed my car keys and followed him out the door. It wasn't for anything else, I was just curious. What was E-Man, who was acting so innocent and pitiful around me, really like? After all, the first time I met Meng Chongyu. It was at the hospital. At the time, I had just finished surgery. I was unable to move and needed someone to help me. E-Man was there to apply for the carry position. At first, I was a bit hesitant about him. It wasn't because he was a silent E, but because I wanted a woman. But boy E was particularly eager. I've been taking care of my mother since I was a child, so I have a lot of experience. I promise I can do anything they can do. I must admit that moment, I softened. I have no father. My mother is paralyzed, and I've been taking care of her since I was a child, just like him. Later, if it weren't for Xander's financial support, I probably wouldn't have been able to finish high school. So, I kept him on. Just as E-Man had said. He was obedient, hardworking, and considerate. Other carees would take any opportunity to go out and rest. But he stayed by my side day and night. He helped me with everything, even the most basic tasks. When I was in a bad mood, he he would do anything to cheer me up. At that time, I had no appetite, so he would cook for me himself. He would arrange the lunchbox into various cartoon shapes to coax me into eating a bite. The elderly women in the ward would laugh and say, "This guy is treating you like his girlfriend." So it was only natural that we became lovers. During this time, I never doubted E-Man's identity. He often couldn't help but sign to me. Sometimes, when he was in the mood, I'd ask him to teach me a few signs. Even in the most passionate moments, he never made a sound. He just looked at me with wet eyes, like a satisfied dog. Of course, the most important reason I never doubted him was, who else could be so restrained as Rich E? So restrained that I even suspected E-Man was treating himself like Go Jian, coming here to endure hardships and temper his mind. Back then, I was also a regular at the bar. Most of the time, I was brought there by Xander. He drank, and I drove. On the way back, we'd do all sorts of crazy things in his menacing Hummer. Shaking off those memories, I was about to search for E-Man's private room. Suddenly, a hand grabbed me. "Did you come here specifically to find me?" Looking up, Xander was standing right in front of me. "You didn't want to see me earlier, but now you're rushing over here. Is this, wanting to meet but pretending to be shy?" "I'm here to find my boyfriend." I avoided his burning gaze and turned to leave. But he tightened his grip on my hand and dragged me into a men's restroom stall. "Xander." Louder. "Wake everyone up." I glared at him. He rubbed his fingertips against my lips. "Did he kiss you here today? Mind your own business, let go of me. The little cat dares to show its claws. You've changed a lot since the divorce." Xander sneered, "Break up with him." "Why should I?" "Lee, you should know I hate it when people touch my things." His fingers traced my face. "There's a limit to being unreasonable. Don't dance in my danger zone." I tried to argue, but he continued. "When I agreed to the divorce, it was to fulfill your wish. It doesn't mean you can escape my control. This past year, I gave you too much freedom, and you forgot who you belong to." Xander was domineering and arrogant, standing high above me. If he wanted to, he could make all my efforts in work and life disappear into thin air. But why? Why does the one who betrayed the marriage have the nerve to say such things? "You already have a granddaughter. Isn't that enough?" Mentioning that name, Xander frowned in disgust. "I told you, there's nothing between us." "Nothing? Your kissing photos are all over the newspaper. So what? It was just a kiss. Are you really going to get so upset over that?" It made no sense. What a piece of trash. I didn't want to hear another word from him and struggled to break free from his grip. Suddenly, a man's voice came from outside. "Uncle A, are you ready?" My whole body froze. Was it E-Man? Xander was about to push the door open and walk out, but I pulled him back by the arm. He raised an eyebrow at me, and I avoided his sharp gaze. Xander didn't move and asked, "What's going on?" Through the wall, E-Man's slightly impatient voice came through. "I'm leaving. The driver is waiting for me." "So early?" "Yeah." Xander called the driver, and E-Man left shortly after. As he left, he whistled, old but still going strong. "Have fun." I looked up and met Xander's pensive gaze. "Do you know F?" "No." "Why did you avoid him?" "A man and a woman alone in a men's restroom stall? Young E has no shame. I want him." After saying that, I kicked open the door. This time, Xander didn't stop me. E-Man had Xander's driver take him home. He wouldn't be returning to my rental house. After all, Xander's driver knew exactly where I lived. He had approached me under a false identity, naturally not wanting Xander to find out. I didn't rush home and instead strolled leisurely along the street. It was late at night, with only occasional cars passing by on the road. In the darkness, the billboards on both sides shone brightly. Sun V's face stared at me in ultra-high definition. "If it weren't for Xander, you wouldn't even be worthy of tying his shoes." The words the woman had once pointed at me and said echoed in my ears. At the time, I had been smug. So what? He'd rather marry someone like me than you. But later, the video of her kissing Xander spread all over the streets. I broke down and demanded that Xander cut ties with her. Xander said, "Lee, can you stop being so childish?" I finally woke up from my delusion. Yes, they were upper class. Sun V was the sister who grew up with Xander. She was the star V who was propelled to fame by Xander's capital. And I was just the wife he kept at home. Even after we got married, I didn't even know who his nephew was. It's not that I didn't care, Xander never gave me a chance. Perhaps to him, I was just a dog to satisfy his desires. Through the Cold War and divorce, Xander always thought I was being unreasonable. One day, he'll regret it. I do regret it. I regret not leaving him sooner. As I was almost home, I received a message from E-Man. It was a selfie of him lying on his dorm bed. E-Man, I'm lying down. Life really is like a play, all about acting. I asked, knowing the answer, you just finished working, right? E-Man, yeah, Professor E made me work overtime. Right after that, E-Man sent a photo of himself under the covers. E-Man, I miss you. I curved my lips, good boy, I'll feed you next time. In the morning, I was woken up by the sound of the door opening. I walked out of the bedroom and bumped into E-Man, who was carrying breakfast. I was surprised, you're here so early? E-Man put the bag on the table. He walked over and hugged my waist. I was worried you'd be hungry. I looked at the logo on the bag. It was a famous breakfast shop. It was quite far from here. I gently kissed Boy E's lips. While brushing my teeth, I checked my phone. A trending topic was at the top of the list. Hashtag Sun V's loving morning hashtag. I clicked on it and saw a photo of breakfast she had taken. The caption read, "Thank you to someone for bringing me a loving breakfast this morning, starting my day full of energy." Before closing the app, I glanced at the bag's logo. It was exactly the same as the one E-Man and I had bought. Coincidence? Humph. It suddenly didn't seem so nice anymore. When I came out of the bathroom, E-Man was standing there like a door god. He had a certain restlessness about him that was hard to detect. You have something to say? E-Man nodded and held his phone up to me. Next week, I have to go to Santa Monica. Is it work arranged by Professor E? I'm going to see a doctor. I raised my eyebrows, and he continued typing. I found a doctor who can treat my voice. He said there's hope for me to speak again. In that moment, I almost burst out laughing. I had been wondering how E-Man would finally come clean to me. And this was it? I cleared my throat. That's great. Do you need me to come with you? E-Man's eyes darted around, and he hurriedly typed. No, you go ahead and work. I'm afraid I won't get better, and you'll be upset if you're with me. No, you'll definitely get better. He's a healthy person, how could he not get better? But after thinking about it, I added a half-hearted sentence. Even if you don't get better, it's okay, I won't mind. But E-Man seemed touched, pulled me into his arms, and kissed me. E-Man had class in the morning, so he lingered with me for a while before leaving. He had only been gone for a few minutes when the doorbell rang again. Did you forget something? My mouth was covered. I was enveloped by a familiar scent. I pushed him away forcefully and wiped my mouth vigorously. Xander, what are you doing so early in the morning? Who was that who left your house just now? No one left my house. Lil, do you really think I'm an idiot? If you already know, why are you asking me? Do you know who he is? Thanks to you, I found out a few days ago. Xander gripped my hand tightly. His eyes turned red. How dare you? This was the first time I had ever seen Xander lose control. I stared at him. How dare I? Why don't you go ask him why he dared? After 7 years together, if you had ever cared about me once, or taken me to meet your family after we got married, I never would have had the chance to agree to him. We glared at each other, and thinking about the past made my chest ache slightly. He suddenly softened and hugged me. His lips brushed against my right ear. Break up with him, okay? I'll pretend I never knew. I suddenly found it incredibly funny. I won't break up. Now I'm not your anything, and who I'm with has nothing to do with you. Xander bit his lip, trying to control his anger. What do you want? Money? I can give you that. Or a title. Do you think he'll marry you? I've already been through marriage once. Do you think I care? Then why? Are you trying to get back at me? Hearing this, I laughed. Alex, you're asking the wrong person. You should be asking E-Man. He schemed to get close to me. Why? Xander's expression grew complicated as he ran his fingers across my cheek. You've grown up. I stared at him, saying nothing. After a long while, his hand tightened slightly. He grabbed my chin. Ignoring my intentions, he kissed me again. I bit his lip without mercy. The man recoiled in pain. He rubbed his bleeding lip and suddenly smiled. Lee, you're making me regret giving you freedom. Trust me, you'll come back to me willingly. Xander left, and my legs gave out, causing me to collapse onto the floor. I took several deep breaths to calm myself down. Just as I thought Xander would make his move next and tensed up, ready to fight back. Unexpectedly, Xander didn't show up. On the day E-Man left for Santa Monica, I received a message from Boy E. E-Man, departing. Wish me luck. Attached was a photo of a plane ticket. I replied with an "go for it" emoji. As I exited the app, my phone automatically pushed a post from Sun V. Sun V, let's go. Smooth premiere. Sun V is a top-tier celebrity. Big data doesn't care if you like her or not. It always pushes the hottest people and information to you. I usually ignore them, but this time I clicked in. Her location was the airport, and the photo she posted was a Santa Monica plane ticket. From the same breakfast to the same destination city. In that moment, something suddenly occurred to me. I reopened E-Man's photo and zoomed in. In the bottom right corner, there was an LV backpack strap that had accidentally been captured in the frame. I searched online for photos of Sun V's airport outfit taken by fans. That LV bag was one she often carried. Countless details told me they weren't just acquaintances. They were likely very close. So could I have been wrong from the start? E-Man's interest in me wasn't because of Xander. It was because of Sun V. My feud with Sun V dates back 4 years. After graduating from university, I moved into Xander's place. That's when I found out Xander had a little crush named Star V. She would often call Xander in the middle of the night. She would ask Xander to help her get resources every now and then. She would also speak softly and sweetly to him. I felt jealous. I also argued with Xander. He told me, if I liked her, I would have been with her long ago. Why would I choose you? Later, his father forced him to marry Sun V. Xander, in a fit of anger, got married to me without any formalities. There was no proposal, no wedding. On the day we got married, Sun V cried until her eyes were red. She looked at me. Do you really think Xander loves you? He married you just to rebel against his family. He cares about me the most. At first, I didn't believe her. Until the kissing scandal broke out. Everyone online thought he was Sun V's boyfriend. Xander didn't explain anything. Instead, he arranged for her to star in a foreign film. To help her break into the international market. I finally woke up. But I still don't understand. If Sun V was the one who instructed E-Man to get close to me, why? In that 3-person relationship. She was the ultimate winner. A few days later, I received another message from Xander. This time, he didn't say a word. He just sent me a few photos. In the photos, a guy was carrying a bag, walking beside a girl with his head down. The girl was looking up at him. Her posture was arrogant. Their figures were too familiar. E-Man and Sun V. You wanted to know the reason, right? This is it. Eth has liked Sun V for a long time, but he also knows that Sun V likes me, so he's been trying to bring us together. When he found out I got married, he was the one who couldn't accept it the most in the family. Over the years, they've been in contact. Wow, I didn't expect Big Young E to go with the deep love guy persona. I didn't say anything, and Xander continued. He went to Santa Monica this time to attend Sun V's premiere. I think he wants to get close to you, completely cut off any possibility of us getting back together, and create an opportunity for Sun V. Before, I thought E-Man acting mute was already crazy enough. But the reason he's approaching me is even crazier than that. I asked Xander, why are you telling me this? Aren't you angry? Angry? Besides finding it absurd, I don't feel angry at all. Maybe because all my anger was exhausted during the 2 years we were married. When he comes back, you two should break up. If you don't want to face them, I'll talk to Eth. I was puzzled. Xander. Why do you always try to break up other people's relationships? Besides making me break up, do you have anything else to do? If not, I'm hanging up. Xander was speechless. Are you still planning to be with him? Is that not allowed? He doesn't like you. So what? You don't like me either, but I still married you. There was silence on the other end. I heard the sound of someone lighting a cigarette. I've never liked anyone else. Is that so? Then you'll have to learn to like someone else. That night, I had a dream. I dreamed that I had just started college when I suddenly received a call from my aunt back home. She told me that my mother had fallen. She was in surgery and needed money urgently. My mother had been paralyzed for years, and I had always taken care of her. When I went away to study, I hired an aunt to help. Even though I worked multiple part-time jobs non-stop every day, the money I earned was barely enough to cover the aunt's wages. Desperate, I went to find Xander. I felt embarrassed, anxious, and restless. But Xander didn't hesitate. He personally arranged for my mother's surgery and told me, if the caregiver isn't reliable, replace her. If she can let your mother fall once, she can do it again. You don't need to worry about the money for her care. I'm supporting you so you can study in peace, not so you have to work odd jobs and neglect your studies. From then on, besides my tuition fees, Xander also took on the costs of caring for my mother. Later, I gathered the courage to confess my feelings to him. He said, sure, I like obedient girls. Staying by his side, 7 years passed. Later, my dreams became one endless wait. It became my birthday, but he went to Sun V's press conference. It became our wedding anniversary, but he didn't come home all night. I've been grateful to Xander. I've loved Xander. But I also hate him. It's like I'm trapped in a dream, unable to wake up. In the haze, it felt like someone was calling my name. Lee, Lee. Then I was picked up. Xander, what are you doing here? As I spoke, I realized my throat was dry and hoarse. You didn't answer your phone. I was worried something happened to you. You have a high fever. Let's go to the hospital first. I have a fever. No wonder I felt so hot all over. When Xander carried me out the door, I finally realized. My front door was gone. Xander looked expressionless. We can't get in. Let's just find someone to break it down. Me. After my temperature went down, I finally felt my mind gradually clearing. Xander was sitting beside the hospital bed. His shirt sleeves were rolled up, revealing a deep blue wristwatch. I stared at the watch, feeling dazed. I remembered that it was when I graduated from university and received my first paycheck. I used all my savings to buy it for him. $17,000. At the time, I thought it was so expensive. But one day, I heard Sun V ask Xander, Big A, didn't you just buy a watch worth over 80 million? Why aren't you wearing that one? Lee gave it to me. Sun V looked a bit awkward. I've never worn something so cheap. It'll give me a rash, right? What did Xander say at the time? He said, maybe, just to make little girls happy for a couple of days. I spent all my savings. Yet I could only use it to make him happy. From that day on, I never gave Xander another watch. So he's wearing it again today. Is it to make me happy again? It's just a shame I'm not the little girl I used to be. Is this what you call taking care of yourself? Passing out at home? Seeing me awake, Xander immediately started questioning me. I just had a fever. A fever can kill you. Xander paused. After you're discharged, move in with me. I'll have my assistant pack your things. No. Is it because of E-Man? I didn't respond, so he asked again, or is it because of Sun V? He grew impatient. What exactly do I need to do for you to believe I have nothing to do with Sun V? Simple. Make her disappear from the public eye. Can you do that? Impossible. Let's not even talk about the years of business dealings between our families. Sun V's current entertainment company is half owned by me. Xander sighed. I tried to handle it before. I sent her abroad. Isn't that enough? I scoffed. Having Sun V film abroad for a year. You call that handling it? I didn't want to say anything. Xander was upset. I don't understand why you have such hostility towards Sun V, Lil. You're not the kind of person who harms others. If you lost your husband and your child because of a woman, would you let her off the hook? What are you saying? Tears welled up in my eyes. My child is gone because of her. This can't be. I wiped away my tears forcefully. 2 months before we divorced, I found out I was pregnant. I wanted to tell you, but then the news of your kiss broke. Afterward, Sun V brought a group of people to confront me, and during the argument, I lost the baby. Even the week before, I had just gone to the doctor, and the baby had a heartbeat and a fetal bud. The doctor said it was a very healthy baby. I couldn't bring myself to finish the sentence and lowered my eyes. If you don't believe me, you can ask E-Man. He was the one who took care of me at the hospital. Xander's body swayed slightly. His departing footsteps sounded hurried and disheveled. After Xander left, I lay there for a while and drifted off to sleep. When I opened my eyes again, E-Man was sitting beside me. Why are you here? E-Man pursed his lips, looking a bit upset. I heard you were hospitalized and rushed back immediately. I suddenly remembered when E-Man had come looking for me earlier that day. I had indeed taken a photo of myself hooked up to N4 and sent it to him. But I didn't expect him to come back. I had checked Sun V's schedule online earlier. The premiere was today. It's not a big deal. I can leave the hospital after the 4. He looked serious. I know, but you had your gallbladder removed. I'm worried about you. Don't you even remember? I was the one who took care of you during the surgery. I remember. I teased him with a playful smile. Junior E, the kind that stays in bed with you. E-Man's face turned red in an instant. He was about to say something else when his phone suddenly rang. I instinctively glanced at the screen. Rue. Like a guilty thief, he quickly turned his phone away. Then he looked at me nervously. I pretended not to see. What's wrong? Aren't you going to answer? E-Man had just hung up and shook his head. Don't answer, it's a scam call. A scam call. Haha, that's how they operate. It's definitely a scam. My illness came on quickly and left just as fast. By the next morning, I was basically back to normal. E-Man was busy helping me with the discharge procedures. At that moment, Xander sent me a message. Xander, when are you getting discharged? I'll come pick you up. No need, your nephew is here. Xander, then I have to come even more. Xander, do you think I'm afraid of him? Everything's packed, we can go. E-Man came over, and I didn't reply to Xander. I put away my phone and followed him out. Once in the car, I suddenly remembered, our front door had been broken down. My temples throbbed. I wondered if Xander had fixed it yet. Our front door lock is broken, and the repairman hasn't come yet. Let's stay at a nearby hotel for now. E-Man didn't ask why and nodded obediently. On the way, my phone kept vibrating. Xander kept calling. I found it annoying and deliberately sent him the hotel's location. Don't come and ruin things. Then I blocked him. We entered the hotel and opened the door. E-Man immediately pressed himself against me. The photos of E-Man and Sun V in Shanghai flashed through my mind. I turned my head, and Boy E's kiss landed on my cheek. Be good, just endure it. I'm still recovering from a serious illness, vigorous activity isn't advisable. A fleeting look of disappointment flashed in E-Man's eyes, but he nodded anyway. There was no passion between us, and it seemed like there wasn't much else to talk about. The atmosphere grew silent. I lowered my head to scroll through my phone, while E-Man stared at me. Do you have something to say to me? E-Man nodded imperceptibly. Actually, there's something I lied to you about. I'm not mute. Before I could finish typing, another call came in. Xander. He hung up, then called again. He hung up again, then called again. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. Answer it. Without waiting for E-Man's reaction, I reached over and answered the call. E-Man, let Lil answer the phone. Before E-Man could say anything, the other side spoke again. Don't pretend to mute it. We already know about your little affair. Now, immediately, let Lil answer the phone. So. In that instant, I witnessed the entire process of a puppy going from shock to panic to silence. I unilaterally concluded. E-Man's series of actions just now could easily be included in the Beijing Film Academy's acting textbook. Why didn't you answer my call? I didn't answer, but you found me anyway. Did you do this on purpose? Did you want me to find E-Man myself? Weren't you the one who urged me to break up with you? After a moment of silence, Xander suddenly laughed. Lee, you're smarter than you used to be. I'm on my way. Tell that kid to tighten his belt. The call ended, and I met E-Man's complex gaze. When did you find out? What are you talking about? Did you know I wasn't mute, or that you were approaching me because of Sun V? If it's the former, it's been a while. The latter is recent. E-Man's shoulders slumped. I came here today, to be honest with you. Confess that you were cured in Santa Monica? No, Boy E grabbed his hair tightly, let's get married. After he finished speaking, we both fell silent at the same time. A moment later, he seemed to have grasped something. Yes, let's get married. You're willing to sacrifice your own marriage for Sun V. I was speechless. And why do you think that just because you want to marry me, I have to marry you? It's not because of her. It's because of me. You've fallen for me? E-Man nodded gently. I laughed. He'd acted himself into this. I was impressed by his acting skills. I asked him, do you know why I divorced Xander back then? It was because of Sun V. Then how likely do you think I am to agree to marry someone who only approached me because of her? She's not really bad, she's just been spoiled by her family. That's bad. I interrupted E-Man. I don't hate Sun V for clinging to Xander, it takes two to tango. But she shouldn't have gone after my mother. At the time, I was preparing to marry Xander. My mother had been paralyzed for over 20 years and was in poor health. Sun V somehow found out my mother's hospital address. She went to her bedside and told her I was the mistress of a wealthy man. My mother was just an unsophisticated peasant woman. Her greatest hope for me was that I would go to college and live a stable life. How could she withstand such slander? Even when I explained that we were planning to marry, Xander wouldn't even promise me a wedding. My mother didn't believe a word of it. Enraged, her condition worsened. She passed away quickly. How could I ever forgive such hatred? I took a deep breath and looked at E-Man. When Sun V took advantage of Xander while he was drunk and kissed him, you had someone destroy the surveillance footage at the hotel, didn't you? E-Man bit his lip. If you're going to apologize, you need to show some sincerity. I looked at E-Man, give me the video. E-Man's eyes flickered. I suddenly felt it was pointless. Forget it, you should go. Xander will be back soon. Will you get back together with him? That's none of your business. I'll give it to you. E-Man stared at me. I meant it when I said I liked you. I've never had such a pleasant experience with anyone else. I want to pursue you again, as a normal person. We'll get married and move abroad, to a place where there's no Xander or Sun V, and start a new life. Just you and me. By the time Xander arrived, E-Man had already left. I had been hoping to see them fight. You look disappointed. Of course. I heard you say E-Man was a troublemaker, so I thought he'd confront you head-on, but he backed down as soon as he heard you were coming. He sneered, betraying me like that isn't enough for you? You're right. E-Man just proposed to me. That's pretty bold. Nonsense. What did you say? I said I'd think about it. Xander's veins bulged. Do you really think he'll marry you? I'll make sure everyone knows you were my ex-wife. His family will never accept you. I can never see his family. I've been living like this for the past 2 years. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. You've waited 2 years and still haven't gotten it. Alex, I'm 30 years old, not 3. I was wrong. Xander leaned closer to me. Let's get back together. I'll give you a wedding. Getting Alex to say, I was wrong, was no easy feat. Will you agree? I want to study abroad and need a recommended professor. As soon as I finished speaking, Xander's face darkened. You're not going. Then forget it, Alex. Turn right and leave. Remember to fix my front door, or I'll call the police to arrest you. You have to go. I didn't respond. Xander exhaled. All right, let's get married first. So there's no room for negotiation? I thought you were the one chasing me. Xander chuckled. All right, I'll introduce you. Oh, and Sun V. Mentioning that name, Xander's face darkened. I'll handle it. We need to give our child an explanation. The next day, I received an email from E-Man. It contained the full video of Sun V kissing Xander from back then. Their photos from back then were exposed. Xander sat on a chair with his eyes closed. Sun V gently kissed his lips. The scene was beautiful. It was clearly taken by someone who had carefully planned it. I checked the hotel. They said the surveillance footage had been destroyed after someone had asked them to. Xander clearly didn't want to deal with this. Someone with power and influence who would do such underhanded things for Sun V. Besides Xander, it had to be E-Man. I contacted the media and exposed the video. I also revealed Xander's married status at the time. The internet was ablaze. The discussion quickly trended on the hot list. Holy crap, they were promoting them as childhood sweethearts, a rising star and a big shot in the industry. Everyone was shipping them so hard. Turns out the guy is married. This is too shocking. This woman finally fell from grace. She treated her staff like dirt, acted like a diva on set, and had all her scandals covered up by Capital. This is great news. In the past, whenever any information about Sun V was leaked, it would be suppressed immediately. However, this time, it was allowed to spread freely. Just as rivals and haters were jumping in, and the public opinion was escalating, I received a call from Xander. Did you post the video? Did she contact you again? Your relationship is really close. I said I'll handle it. Do you think I believe you? Without waiting for his reply, I hung up the phone. At the same time, I received a message from E-Man. E-Man, she came to find me. E-Man, I ignored her. I silently curled the corners of my mouth. I replied, be good. E-Man, can I come over? No. I haven't forgiven you yet. The trending topic hadn't been off for long. Sun V responded. Sun V, thank you all for your concern. We were childhood sweethearts, but the cheating and infidelity are false. P.S. He's single. She also posted a photo of herself and Xander from when they were children. Trolls jumped in. The comments were all, Sis has been beautiful since she was a kid. I knew you wouldn't do something like this. Sis and her husband are so perfect together. I sneered at the message. I touched my heart. I had expected this. What's there to be heard about? However, just a few minutes later, Xander, who hadn't posted anything in years, suddenly made a public statement. I am Xander. At the time that photo was taken, I was indeed married. I apologize to my wife here. I am currently trying to win her back. She is an ordinary person, and I hope everyone will not pay too much attention to this. I couldn't believe my eyes. I stepped back and looked again. It was definitely him. I was speechless. My phone vibrated. Xander, my sincerity. Over the next few days, I was busy with my study abroad application. I didn't pay much attention to what was happening online. That day, I received a call from an unknown number. Lil, why are you still haunting me? Star V deigning to call such a nobody like me is truly an honor. F actually betrayed me for you. I really underestimated you before. You're too kind. It's all thanks to the opportunities you gave me. Sun V choked. Do you really think a video can influence me? Of course not. This is just the first gift I'm giving you, as a token of gratitude for letting E-Man get close to me. The next gift I'll give you is to disappear from the public eye forever. Big talk. Do you really think Xander and Eth will help you? They love me the most. I laughed lightly. I never expected them to. Everything I did was on my own. I just made sure they didn't interfere when I was dealing with her. After my mother passed away, I'd been keeping an eye on Sun V. She's been using her powerful background to bully others in the industry. She's been acting however she pleases. She's offended a lot of people. Her dirt is easy to dig up if you follow her for a while. Earlier, I found an assistant who had left Sun V's company. She had been subjected to workplace bullying by Sun V for a long time. She had suffered long-term workplace bullying from Sun V. By the time she quit, her mental state was already very poor. After getting in touch with her for a while, I indeed uncovered some major dirt. In this circle, tax evasion seems to have become an unwritten rule. But I didn't expect Sun V to be this wealthy. Yet she still couldn't avoid tax evasion. Just a few days ago, we finally gathered all the relevant materials. This is also why I no longer wish to play along with E-Man's charade. After hanging up the phone, I went to the tax authority. I filed a formal complaint against Sun V for tax evasion. Xander received the news of my complaint immediately. Are you really determined to destroy him completely? Oh, Alex, are you feeling sorry for him? Xander pinched the bridge of his nose. Do you know how much money my film company will lose because of this? Can't you wait a little longer? Until I'm dead? Mentioning this, Xander sighed. The Sun family has connections in the system that rival those in the business world. They're not short on money. As long as they pay the taxes, it won't hurt them. That's right. I placed a finger on Xander's chest. It all depends on Alex's sincerity. 3 months later. Xander drove me to the airport. Send me a message as soon as you arrive in London. I'll arrange my work and come find you. Got it, stop nagging. Xander looked helpless. During this time, we were both very busy. I was busy applying to overseas universities. Xander was busy cutting ties with the Sun family. At the time, thanks to Xander's efforts, evidence of Sun V's tax evasion was leaked. Nowadays, society has zero tolerance for such incidents. The Sun family couldn't accept Xander's betrayal. The relationship between the two families deteriorated rapidly. Several companies under Xander's name also suffered significant setbacks. Meanwhile, Eman and I's relationship was discovered by the Ji and Meng families. Eman was sent abroad. He naturally refused to go. On the way to escape, he was involved in a car accident. I went to the hospital to visit him. Boy E's right leg was wrapped in thick casts. When he saw me, his eyes started to redden. I miss you so much. I looked at Eman but didn't respond to his pleading. Instead, I said, take care of yourself. He remained silent for a long time before asking me, did you ever like me? I had feelings for you. He was handsome, had a great body, and pretended to be so kind and considerate. Who wouldn't be moved? But what does that matter? I smiled. There are plenty of young, good-looking, and kind people in the world. Without you, I'd still be attracted to others. At the airport, the announcement for the flight to London began. I carried my large suitcase and said goodbye to Xander. Xander seemed to sense something and hugged me tightly. Wait for me. I patted his shoulder. No response. After passing through security, I turned to look at Xander standing far away. I smiled. Turning around, I snapped my phone SIM card in half and threw it into the trash. Then I tore up the ticket to London. Half a year later. At a Stanford University social gathering. A group of people gathered to chat. They suddenly started talking about lies they had told in the past. Who hasn't told a few lies in their life? No, I bet Lee hasn't. She looks so innocent. I held a glass of beer and smiled slightly at those words. I didn't join the conversation. My life. I've told too many lies. For example, I knew Xander liked children. But I've never been pregnant. Telling him about the miscarriage was just a way to provoke his hatred, knowing he wouldn't bother to verify it. For example, I met Eman 4 years ago. I even clearly remember him standing next to Sun V at the time. The way he looked at me was like I was trash. A country bumpkin, not worth your time. Another example. I never applied to the University of London. After Xander recommended that professor to me, I went to see him. He was a renowned authority in the academic world, sitting there on his high horse. I can write you a recommendation, but it has to be for the University of London. I smiled and pushed an envelope toward him. What's this? He frowned and opened it. A photo of a group of men and women drinking in a private room fell out. In the center was the eminent scholar himself. Surrounding him were a group of young women. I smiled. It's just a recommendation for Stanford. For someone like you, it's no big deal. You wouldn't want to tarnish your reputation, would you? But please keep this a secret from Xander. I looked up at the moon outside. My thoughts drifted away. Juan, are you feeling unwell? Suddenly, a poorly spoken Chinese phrase came from behind me. I remembered his name was Kay. The captain of the school's football team. An American, very handsome. I knew many girls were his fans. I smiled lightly. No, I'm just a little tipsy. Kay handed me a glass of orange juice and sat beside me. His gaze toward me was filled with the unhidden admiration of a young boy. I couldn't help but think of Eman. I chuckled, raised my glass, and clinked it lightly with Kay's. We will meet many people in our lives. They come, they go, they leave their mark. They are destined to be mere passers-by.